What's up, everybody? This is Objective Jerk, and I'm said Jerk. How you doing? It's Black History Month, and Joy Reid, the most racist talking head on TV, is history. It's awesome. But yeah, how's everybody doing? Let's see. I did a podcast a little while ago, a couple days ago or something. I did like 3 or 4 in a row, and but on my last one, I talked about. What was it? I was talking about son of a God. It was a movie or a show or something. Or I read. Oh, I'm gonna look it up real quick. So how's everybody doing? I gotta pull up the app. Make sure. Let me see. I gotta look at my. Oh, James Bond. That's right. Yeah. So I talked about James Bond being bought by Amazon, which is horrible, but I'm not going to talk about that because I talked about that on that episode. But the point is, I did not hit record on my video, so it's just a podcast, the audio, no video for that one. Not that, I honestly don't think anybody really watches my videos. I think they just listen to them anyway, but yeah, so there's that. If you want to hear me talk about Bond and my feelings and everything towards James Bond and the franchise moving forward, go check it out. All right. So Joy Reid is fired. I mean, you could kind of see it coming. People who can see through bullshit and see the writing on the wall, you could see it coming. I mean, she was getting like 60,000 views or something, I guess, a night on her show or whatever. So, I mean, she was only there to spread the propaganda, the racist propaganda, you know. That's the thing is, like, you have people on the far left, they see racism and everything, and then people on the far right, they see a conspiracy and everything, right? I see a conspiracy in a lot of things, but not everything. I used to make fun of a guy I worked with that he saw a conspiracy and everything. But the thing is that conspiracies are like proving to be true, and the racism is not. Is racism around? Yes, people are still racist, but if anything, racism has gone up because of these people just like Joy Reid talking about racism, racist. You know what I mean? It's just, it's insane. And now it's like they've brought racism back. They just won't let it die. There's that comic I saw where it showed 2 people giving somebody CPR, and the person getting the CPR was racism, and the 2 people was like media and somebody else. I can't remember. Hollywood, maybe. I don't know. But it's like, yeah, they're just trying to keep it alive because there's a lot of people who make a lot of money off of racism, you know. They don't want it to die. But anyway, so Joy Reid is out. She is just an insufferable cunt, man. She was just a horrible, horrible person. But sorry about saying the C word. I really shouldn't say that. But man, it fits with her. I apologize if that offends you. But man, it does. Like she's the definite. Well, no, she's not the only one. But man, I can get away with saying that kind of because my wife, being Filipino, like it doesn't bother them at all. They don't care. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny how, I mean, I don't go around saying it all the time. But yeah, like women who born and raised in America, man, you say the C word and ooh, man, they get immediately, they just, yeah. But my wife, she don't care. It's funny. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about a derogatory word. I'm here to talk about mainstream media and how it's just failing. So for the past, I think pretty much ever since Biden got into office and people started seeing his decline or just started seeing how the media was covering up. I mean, there's people that just don't see anything. They're just oblivious. They are the legitimate sheep of the country. But, there are people who are normies or even people who are, liberal. I wouldn't say liberal, maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out because liberal to me means a little crazy, but then you have, no, that's not right either. Yeah, I guess liberal is probably the right word, but people who are liberal, left-wing leaning, but they're not, they don't, they're open-minded and they see the writing on the wall and they would see all this crap going on. So you would start to see like, what? They would see these talking heads like Splitzer, or whatever his name was, Don Lemon, Chris, all of them be like, dude, these guys, what are they talking about? This is not, and the thing is, like, also, it's like all the news was just, that's all any of them were. They were just opinion propaganda. Like, nobody's just a journalism. Or nobody's just a journalist reporting on the news. And that's what people started to realize. Like, what happened to the journalist? It's all just propaganda. I mean, they didn't want to say it's propaganda, but that's what it is, And that's why it's failing. So you have like Spitzer, whatever his stupid name was, Don Lemon, Chris Cuomo. Now, to be fair, I mean, there's been lots of other people too, but these are kind of like the big ones, right? But to be fair, you had Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson as well, right? But here's the difference, though, right? Spitzer, Don Lemon, Chris Homo. He's trying to turn it around, though, but I don't trust him. Their viewership was just in the toilet, so they lost their position. Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson, they said some things or did some things that got them fired, right? Because it's not just CNN and MSNBC and all the left-wing media thing. Fox is owned by Big Pharma and all that crap too, you know what I mean? So they gotta bend the knee as well, and that's why like Tucker Carlson, lost his position. I can't remember Megyn Kelly though, what her thing is. But the other thing is too is like, okay, so those individuals, Spitzer, Don Lemon, Chris Cuomo, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, they were all let go, fired, or quit, right? I think they were all let go. Spitzer, I see him on like a panel here and there or whatever, but nobody cares. He's a big idiot. Don Lemon tries doing his own stuff, but he's a big failure. Nobody watches his shit. He had a chance to be on X, but he fucked that up because he's an idiot. Chris Cuomo, he was able to come back on another news outlet. I can't think of which one it is, but he's drastically changed his, now he's trying to be in the middle or appear to be in the middle. You know what I mean? Megyn Kelly, she started her own YouTube channel and is hugely successful, right? And same with Tucker Carlson, like huge. And they're on X too or whatever. But, nobody's watching Don Lemon. Nobody's watching Spitzer. I don't even know what he's doing. And the Chris Cuomo, if he was trying to do his own YouTube channel, he would have nothing. It'd be all bull crap. Now, what's going to be funny is I think Joy Reid is going to try and do so. So Megyn Kelly's got close to 4 million subscribers, right? Not quite, but she's getting there. Now let's see what Tucker Carlson. Same thing. Tucker Carlson's even closer to 4 million subscribers, right? Was it Don Spitz? No, it's Don Lemon. Well, let me look up him real quick. Let's see what he's doing. I don't know if he's even... Okay, so Don Lemon, the Don Lemon Show. And this is YouTube, which is very more liberal, right? He has not even 1 million, 532,000 subscribers, which that'd be cool for me, right? But for him, for Don Lemon, that's sad. Nobody cares. And he gets roasted on his own show when he talks to people. And I don't know. Spitzer. But see, right there, that just kind of shows you, dude, just looking at that, you don't need to look at politics. You don't need to look at, the inflation and economy and all that kind of stuff. Just even looking at this. I mean, you can look at tons of stuff, but all of it is the quote unquote writing on the wall of what's going on. And she's going to try and do her own YouTube channel, and she's going to have even less subscribers than Don Lemon, because she is just a fake racist C word. I won't say it again. What's that guy's name? The Spitzer guy, though. Spitzer. Let's see if it comes up. Spitzer. No, it's a different. Damn, what was his name? Mike Spitzer? Was it Mike? Mike Spitzer. Mike Spitzer? No, that's somebody else. Son of a... What was his name? Splitzer? Well, whatever. Anyway. He probably doesn't have one, or he does. It's pretty... I don't know. But anyway, so you get my point, right? You have all these people who were let go, and they try and argue that, well, Megyn Kelly took her... Well, they weren't let go because of viewership. They were let go for other reasons, right? But now they're making more money. Well, I don't know. Well, I'm almost 4 million subscribers. But now they don't have the constraints of mainstream media, and you can't say that because they're sponsoring this episode, or you know what I mean? Yes, they have sponsors or whatever, but they get to pick. You get to pick your sponsor. You don't have other people controlling you like they do in the mainstream media. And the thing is like, I mean, people have been saying it for a long time, but mainstream media is completely dead. It's not just the left-wing side. It's all going down eventually, because people see how they're bought and paid for, how there's influence, how it's propaganda, how it's BS. Because at least on YouTube, they can say what they want, and there's no, like I said, there's nobody pulling at their strings, and you can't say that, you can't, because that's what happened to Tucker Carlson. You can't say that. And probably what happened to Megyn Kelly, I don't remember. But so it's eventually, there's not going to be much news. There'll be like Dateline, or there'll be a certain like documentary kind of stuff, but that stuff's kind of going away too, because nobody trusts the docs, right? Because I used to love why can't I say it? Documentary, docuseries, documentary. There we go. That's what I was trying to think of. Documentary. So now it's like, I used to watch everything, I guess, but I used to love a good documentary, but now it's like you watch something on Netflix and you just see some of the BS, and you're like, okay, it's not legit. It's just like everything else. There's fake, influential BS going on. So it's like, I won't watch it, There's been a few documentaries on Netflix that have come out where I'm like, oh man.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thanks again for listening to The Objective Jerk. I greatly appreciate it. If you could like, subscribe, comment on wherever you're finding this, and you can also email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. So hope you're enjoying it, and please continue on with the episode. But then I'm like, and I'll do some research, and I'll see who's directing it, producing it, and then I'll look and see what they've written, or not written, but directed or produced before. And based on that, I might look, and then sometimes I'll start it, and then I'm just like, no, this is dumb. This is, like, what was the last one I tried watching? I can't remember, but they had people on there. Like, as soon as they had George W. Bush talking, and just some people, like, he was like Obama's like speech writer or something. I'm like, why are these people like, what? I was just like, no, okay, done with this. But then, you can get that on the other side too. It's like, I think most people, we don't want, right wing or left wing. We just want the truth. That's what they want. They want all of the facts put out there, and for us to decide what's right and what's wrong. You know what I mean? That's all we want, but we don't get none of that. Everything is propaganda. And I remember hearing that as a kid, and people, talking about like, oh, it's propaganda. And it's just like, okay, I don't know. But yeah, even back then it was. I think it's gotten worse now. Maybe not. Maybe it's just because I notice it more. But yeah, so Joy Reid, it's hilarious. I was going to play the video, but I guess it would only work audio-wise. I don't know. I wasn't going to mess with it. So, but she's sitting there crying. I think she's being interviewed. And I had value. My show had value. It's like, no, it didn't. You are a racist bitch who tried to throw racism into everything, And oh my gosh, she was like the worst. Now it's just like, now The View. Can we get rid of The View? Man, I cannot stand to watch even clips of The View. Like, I'll watch people who talk about things said on The View, and I fast forward because they'll play like, a minute long clip or something. I just cannot stand to hear their idiotic takes on stuff. It just, I've had enough of it. I know the kind of stuff they, I always make comments to one YouTuber in particular, who I've been watching for a few years now. And I told him, I was like, dude, you don't need to play the whole clip. I believe you. I trust what, you can do either a fast clip or much shorter. Just play one little thing. I don't know. I know there's no editing and trying to distort the truth like, mainstream media does with these. I mean, some people, yes. But that's the thing though, is like, even like left wing, like YouTubers who follow the news, they don't have the subscribers and the views. You know what I mean? And it's like, dude, do you not get it? You can't keep pushing lies and then another lie to cover that lie. It doesn't work. And what's going on is a prime proof that it doesn't. You know what I mean? And some people still will just refuse to see it. Like, you have this going on. Like, what else? So much stuff's coming out. And I got my one friend that I talk about who's my TDS friend. And I honestly think, I don't know, I think even if proof that everything he believes in was all kind of like a BS, like actual proof comes out, he'll still find a way to not believe it. I think, you know what I mean? And that's like the opposite of a conspiracy theorist. I mean, it's still a conspiracy theorist, but it's like, it's just on the other spectrum. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's like they just refuse to give in and be like, no, there's no way that I was on the wrong side. Because he's a good guy. I think he's a good-hearted guy. I guess I kind of get that. He's not I don't think he's racist. He's a black dude. I've talked about him. We were friends working, but we were so it's like, have to put up with me. But we had fun. We got along, Was he the recipient of racism? I'm sure, growing up in the South, being as old as he is. But I mean, I was a recipient of racism too. Just, like I used to hang out when I lived in Washington State. Here, just a quick little whatever. Much time I got? So I'm at 20 minutes. So, I remember growing up, and the first time I really remember seeing people of color was in Utah, was this family. I think they were Indian, though, because they had a really strong odor. So I think they were like Indian. But I thought they were like, black folks. And I just thought that all people like that smelled like that. I think they just had the, the strong odor of, which I love Indian food. But anyway, so that was kind of like my first, and I don't remember having anybody say anything. I mean, there would be like racist jokes, kind of like, oh, what did kind of stuff like that as a kid, almost a teenager, some stuff like that. But it was just like, didn't really know whatever. I remember hearing some stuff from this one kid, but I don't think he was racist because he was like infatuated with Mike Tyson. I remember. But I mean, that was kind of it. And then when I moved to Washington, I was hanging out with like Filipino, half Korean, black, you know what I mean? They were all kind of, I was like the only white kid, but I didn't realize it. I didn't, think anything of it. But then I was kind of getting picked on by these individuals in a sense, like their older brothers were kind of forcing it, you know what I mean? Trying to get us to fight. Like, and I started to feel kind of like an outcast, and they didn't want me to be there. So I quit hanging out with them, So, I mean, not that that's, it's racism, but it isn't, you know what I mean? But it didn't put like a bad taste in my mouth or whatever, as a kid, you just think, okay, well, whatever. It's just looking back at it now, that probably, I remember it wasn't that long ago where I just was like, you know what? I was the only white person. I just kind of realized that. But, I'm an introvert though, so that might have played a part in it too. They thought maybe I was weird because, I was pretty shy and introverted. I didn't really like group hanging out. I can hang out one or two people. I'm still kind of like that. So in big groups, I just wasn't super comfortable. I mean, I even got some of that when I was in the Army. You know what I mean? I was a little older than most people coming in. Most people join the Army, they're like 19-ish. I was 23, which not a huge, age gap, but still. And, you go in, you're surrounded by your platoon and everybody's kind of whatever. I'm an introvert. I'm kind of quiet. I observe. I this and that. I'm not, even like when it was just my platoon or a squad working and people are talking and this and that, I would just kind of watch, and I wouldn't really get involved too much. And they thought I was weird. Like, what's this dude? He's like, he doesn't really whatever, this and that. But I mean, for me, it was just, I mean, I've always been, I'm an introvert, so I always will be. But I was also trying to get away from like drinking and partying and drugs and stuff. Not that I was like heavily into drugs, smoked weed or whatever, but it did seem like it was just constantly drinking like every weekend and this and that. And I was trying to get away from that, go mountain biking and this and that. Plus, 9/11 and stuff like that. But so I didn't want to, go back into my, because that's what, a lot of people, when they join the Army, that's their college. When people are 19 to 24, they're in college and they drink and party all the time, or they're in the military and they drink and they party all the time. It's kind of the thing. And I was trying to not, get sucked into that, I guess. So, but I think most people now, the world we live in, the technology and the much information that we all have, no one's really racist. I don't think racism exists. I think stereotypes do. You know what I mean? But most people judge people by their character, and it's just, yeah, you might have some stereotypes. I've talked about, the guy I was in the army with who looked like Wesley Snipes, and he was into like really heavy aggressive metal, like more aggressive than me, and I was shocked. I was like, what? You're fucking with me. And he was like, no, that was his thing, So that was a stereotype on my part, me assuming he was like into hip hop or something, right? But that's kind of it. It's like, I don't think racism really is around. And if anything, it's worse in other countries than America. You know what I mean? Like, I live here in the Philippines, and it's like everybody's using whitening soap, and they want to make their skin whiter, because if you have lighter skin, that represents you are wealthy because you're not working in the fields and the farm. You'll have Filipinos who are dark as shit, but they're farmers, man. They make the world go round. They get us our crops and our food and build our homes and all that kind of stuff. And then also too, like, my kids tell me that the Filipinos will say the N word like crazy. Like, they say it like it's no big deal. And because, to hear it's not, like, it's more kind of, I don't know, it's just strange. And my wife was like, hey, make sure, because she has some friends they're going to the States for work and stuff like that, so they're going to move to the States. And she told them, like, make sure your kids do not, it's different there, you can't, So if anything, America is the least racist country in the world, because we have so many people, so many different, it's a melting pot. We have to deal with that stuff all the time. All the other countries, they're the ones that are just, it's all Japanese, it's all Korean, whatever, this and that. And then when people come in, they're like, whoa, what's going on here? So it's all bullshit. There is no widespread crazy racism, except for the people that are trying to profit off it. There's stereotypes, yes. But the racism's done. Anyway, I am way over my limit, so that's it. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. Let me know what you think. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I stupid? It all helps. Thanks for hanging out. God bless, and I'll see you guys next time. All right. Bye. You just put yourself through another episode of The Objective Jerk. Thanks again for hanging out with me. Please email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, comment, wherever you find this, follow. It all helps. But thanks again, and I'll see you next time.